Hi everyone, this is the Pure Water Power 4-stage RODICart. It is a 4-stage purification system that will produce pure water, 0 TDS, to your water-fed pole. This cart is constructed with a stainless steel 40-inch RO housing with a 40-inch RO membrane inside. It has a 10-inch sediment filter, a 10-inch carbon filter, and a 10-inch DI filter. Now, this system gives you the ability to run pure water through your water-fed pole from any water source. It turns your TDS down to 0 so you can clean and rinse spot-free. And the way this system works is you have your in. This is the inlet that you would hook your supply in, meaning a spigot or a tank or what have you, wherever your incoming raw water is from. So that would tap into here. This is a female garden hose standard connection. So it'll come through the sediment filter. Now this sediment filter will take out the large solids, rust, some of that larger sediment, and then it goes through the carbon filter. The carbon filter will remove all of the chlorine. Now once it goes out of the carbon filter, it will then go into the RO system. And chlorine has to be taken out of the water prior to any RO filter, or you can damage the filter. So it goes through the RO. The RO will take out about 90 to 96% of the total dissolved solids of the water. So meaning if you have a 200 TDS raw coming in, you should be at around 20 TDS by the time it leaves the RO. So now you're dealing with a much cleaner, lower TDS water by the time it comes through the DI filter, which is the fourth and final filter in this setup. So the DI filter itself will do a lot less work because it's so much cleaner water, and bring that remaining TDS down to 0 and giving you a spot-free rinse. And that is the reason why the 4-stage system is so much more beneficial than a straight DI tank that you get at Culligan or any other straight DI system that you'd have. Which those are okay, but if you're going to do a lot more cleaning, meaning every day, every other day, cost-effective wise, you're in the long run, you're going to save a ton of money by getting an RODI stage, 4-stage, rather than a straight DI. So this, going back to the DI, this will be the 0 TDS water coming out of this outlet right here, and then you simply just run a hose to your water-fed pole. This particular system comes with 50 feet of hose that you would connect on the out of this and then run to your water-fed pole. It gives you an extra 50 feet so you can go around the building with your pole instead of having to drag this unit around with you. And you could add more. A lot of guys will add another 100, 150 feet. So gives you the ability to run the pole without moving the system. One thing a lot of guys I know try to use this hose as an inlet hose to the spigot, which is all fine and dandy, but if you're in a low pressure area, and even if you're not, this could restrict the flow through the system. So we recommend that you only use this hose between here and your water-fed pole. The reason is this hose is such a small diameter, you're restricting the flow coming in if you use this. And because this is a 4-stage system, it's already a system that's taking a lot of the pressure and minimizing on the out because it's got to go through so many stages. So you want to get as much pressure coming in as possible. And so we highly recommend that you use something like a regular garden hose, something 5/8, ½ inch even if you can, but 5/8 is definitely recommended. So that's just a little tip because it will decrease or can decrease your water flow. So that is basically the 4 stages. Now, with an RO system, and this is the RO filter, the big one in the front here. With an RO, there's always going to be a discharge of water. The water that comes in here and the filter that filters out the solids, that bad water with the extra solids has to go somewhere. So while you're using this system at all times, you will get about 20% of whatever water's coming in, 20% of it or so will always be exiting this hose. and that is just clearing, constant clearing of the contaminated water, the high TDS water. So that's just one thing you got to pay attention to, and it's common. Every RO system has it. And this is the discharge hose. And so these systems are made with a garden hose connection on here now, so you can extend a hose to it, and that we can push that water off into a designated area rather than having it run at the machine wherever you have it hooked up. So it gives you the ability to move the water. But anyway, that's normal. So that is what happens with any RO system. So once you have this hooked up, you have your inlet here, your outlet to the pole. There is a valve on here. This valve is on this hose, and it's called a flush valve. So it has two operations. You have normal mode, and then if you lift this up, it's a flush mode. So anytime you run this machine for the first time during that day, it is recommended that when you hook up the water source, turn on the water, put this in flush mode. And what that's going to do is create more water flow out of this end than out of the pole line where your pole hooks up on the side of the DI. So you're going to get more water coming out of here. So what that's doing is it's flushing all the air out of there that's in there, and it's flushing all the dirty water, the high TDS water that's still in that system, and it's going to clear that system prior to your use. Because if you don't do that, you could get the first couple minutes of pure water that isn't completely zero TDS because there's just too much high TDS water going through it. So it's essential that you flush that before. So anyway, so you flush it for a minute or so, 2 minutes at the most, and then when you're ready to go to work, you just simply put that lever down. And there's markings on here. It has normal mode down and flush. This is flush mode up. So then you go to normal mode, and then it's going to take that water that was coming out of here and push it back towards the pole side, so you're going to get less water. It'll go back down to about 20% coming out of here, and then the clean water, zero TDS water, will go to the pole. You'll know the difference. If you don't have this up, you'll know by pressure that you're doing something wrong. So you just always make sure you have this in normal mode when you're using it. So then this ball valve up here, this ball valve, normally a ball valve, when you shut it one way, it will turn off, and when you go the other way, it turns on, and then you can adjust it anywhere in the middle. But this is a different type of ball valve. When it's in the closed position, it will still give you about 20% water out of here, and that's a safety, because if we didn't do that and you shut this off, it could cause a lot of pressure in here and cause the system to explode or something, or ruin it in some way, shape, or form. So it's a safety mechanism that we have. There's a hole that's drilled through it to prevent it from being closed off, and it gives you the right ratio of discharge water. So don't be alarmed, that's normal. And that's just the way these systems have to get rid of the high TDS water within them. So that's essentially how this will work. So you run it, and then when you're done with the job, come back, leave the water on, go ahead and put this to flush mode for a minute or so, and that's going to flush that system, and then go ahead and put it back into normal, and then disconnect everything, and you're ready to go. Now this system comes with 50 feet of extra hose to connect between the DI and your water-fed pole. It's equipped with male and female garden hose fittings, and it comes with the clamp wrenches for the filter housings. These wrenches are only used to change your filters. You have the small one, which will slide up on these, and then you just pop them open, change your filters. The big one's for the DI. And then it also includes a TDS meter. This is just so you can measure your TDS water coming in. So it's just a digital meter. Just simply get a cup of water. Some guys will stick it at the end of the brush, and it'll go ahead and read it. But I always use a cup. It just seems to be more efficient. So you just hit this on and off button, dip it into the cup of water, and it'll tell you your TDS. So you should always check your TDS periodically, at least. Just to know what you're working with and what areas in your cities. But it's always a good idea to see what you're working with raw out of most of the jobs you're at. Get an idea of how long your filters will last. And then of course you want to test this coming out of this end here, or the brush, to make sure you're at 0 TDS or below 10 TDS. Once you get above 10 TDS, it's time to change this DI filter. So that does come with it, and you will get a packet like such, and it has an instructional warranty information, talks about filter changes, all of it, everything you need to know about this system. And then one other feature I'd like to explain about this system is this is the line coming from the RO to the DI. So this is after RO but pre-DI. We have installed a quick release valve so you can test your water coming out of the RO. Sometimes if you're not sure what's going on with your filters, it's always a good idea to get a test after DI and then after RO but before DI, and then that'll tell you how your RO is functioning. So instead of having to unscrew it, we just put a little quick connect on there, and so it gives you the ability to test that for future if you're trying to diagnose a problem. Not a lot that can go wrong with these. As I said, they're stainless steel housings on the RO. Gives it a professional look, gives it a more of a strong housing than the traditional PVCs that are primarily out there. All of these fittings on here are brass, some steel even, all the way through the whole system. There's no plastic fittings. We don't want you to drop the unit, bust the fitting, you're out all day because of a $2 fitting. That could have been prevented if something was just a little bit stronger. So it's definitely built a lot more professional quality. Another plus for this system. The overall dimensions of this system are 52 by 17 by 18, or 15 rather, 52, 17, 15, and weighs about 58 pounds. So it's fairly light. All the filters come installed, has a 40-inch RO, and then the 10-inch sediment, carbon, and DI. And these systems can be used standing up like such, or you can lay them down. It's great for storage, great for transportation, all around great for usage. You can use it any way you want. Excellent system, manufactured by Pure Water Power.